Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. I know like everybody is super busy. It is summer full on and now you can see it. Yes?
Yep.
Yay. All right. So this thing about creating content, we were just talking before some of you joined, and I was laid off in 2022, and you know, I needed to figure it out. So I went into LinkedIn, and the first thing was like, post content every day, post content every day. And that lasted like 7 days for me. I was like, I can't do it. So, so then I created a coaching program for fractional people, and content is at the end, to be honest. But I'll tell you my story here. Here's the real title after making my slides. It's how to create successful content without being a marketer. This is what we're doing. We're going to talk about creating content, and you don't, if you're a marketer, that's great. But a lot of people I work with are not. And this day and age, you kind of have to do everything, wear every hat. If you're starting out with a side hustle or a fractional, you know, or coaching, you got to do it all. So what we're going to talk about today is why content. I just got done saying it's not important. The pros and cons around using AI. We all are been with AI. I sort of came into this side hustle fractional side when AI was just coming out. So I've been pretty deep with it, and it's evolved so much. It's been transformational, literally. And then 3 simple steps to create content using AI. And I have a system now. And like this morning, I was going to send out a newsletter post. And I'm like, okay, I timed it 15 minutes, just like, and I put an example in here to show you. The thing that really fires me up is at the bottom there. This rolled in this morning, a Calendly meeting link. And this is what we're all driving for. We want people to meet with us who want to talk to us about their needs. Like, it's that simple, right? Like, you know, if you say you're going to offer service and you go out and try to find people to talk to, it is hard. And so getting to this point has not happened overnight, but this is my joy. This is like what brings me up. So most of you are new to me, but so I have been doing I've been doing marketing and startups for 18 years, since 2006, mostly online. And I met Bill online, we'll admit to that. He's an author. He's working on publishing his 2nd book very soon, despite my presence. He thinks I'm an interruption. I don't know why, but it's okay. We have 4 furry kids. We have 2 dogs, and the cats, I guess they're just not here, but they're harder to take pictures of. And something very disruptive happened in my life. So I never thought my daughter would have a baby, but she did in May. And I decided to pick up our lives and move from Connecticut back to Minnesota. So we are only 30 minutes away from that little girl. And it's a whole new thing. So, and she is so special. So that was my choice. It's good to know that I'm not working full time because I can do this. And so the thing that I've been doing for the last 3 years is doing fractional marketing for startups. And when I was laid off, I knew that my network would never, I mean, they'd never help me with jobs. So I didn't think much about, you know, my fractional marketing services either, but LinkedIn brought me clients, like almost all of them, not on my profile, not from creating content. And it's from getting out into other people's networks that are large, huge. People are reading in LinkedIn looking for solutions. So then I found other market fractional people who were like, we can't find leads. Most of them weren't in marketing, CFOs, CTOs. And it's really hard. It's hard to market yourself. And so I set up a coaching program, and I've worked with about 60 people on how to attract clients. And so I'm kind of today melding the two, like, and I'll tell you the story about, how this has come about. But, I became an entrepreneur of necessity. And I think it's a thing now where, we want to work, like we want to work, yet we're not ready to just retire or sit back. And so I'm on a mission to help people use their expertise and then put yourself back to work, because we have that right. And people need us. We're senior. We know what we're doing. We have skills. We get things done quickly. So I've been in your shoes, and I understand the need to get new business, leads, meetings, cash. I get it. It's not easy. So my goal is I had it on my banner for a long time, simplify marketing, and people didn't really nobody cared, but I'm really trying to simplify this. So I want to create systems that teach you the skills so it becomes a habit and you like it. The crazy thing is that, I was never a writer. I never wanted a writing job in marketing. And now I love to tell my story in LinkedIn. Plus, a month ago, I started my newsletter, and I'm compelled and motivated, and I like to do it. You're going to see that. So it's a mindset shift, though. There's some things that need to happen. So this is for you if, you're tired of thinking that your LinkedIn presence isn't bringing you anything, or that when you think about content, it gives you a migraine, seriously, people. And you have expertise, but how to translate that into words. You played with AI. The content's not really, not good. And maybe you have posted it and it's fine. But you want a faster way to create content that actually sounds like you. And it is about building visibility, but I'm not teaching the personal brand thing, which means post every day, build a large following. My view is you have your expertise, you can put your professional brand on LinkedIn and go get clients. We don't have time for 6 to 9 months of that other monkey business. Anyway, it's a point of view. And that's partly the name for my program, The Growth Rebel, because it is a rebellious attitude. We don't need to do what everybody else is doing. It's kind of been my life too, but so about content, it's actually better if you're not a copywriter or marketer, to be honest, I think. People founders are telling their story in their own way, their own language, their own format, and people like it. The people that like it come, and it repels some people, and that's good, because you don't want to be liked by everybody. The generic content coming from AI is really bad, and we've all seen comments people call you out on. It's anyway, how to avoid that. But just creating that content is really hard. I started on Twitter back in 2006, 7, and I couldn't post 3 times a day or whatever. No one cared about my sandwich. And so anyway, it's a point of view, and it's a way of thinking about what you're doing. The pressure to build thought leadership, when I work with founders, it's what do I say? Just set that aside. Your thought leadership will evolve. So in the 2 years, I actually have banners over 2 years, 50 of them. But there's an evolution of what you say, how you talk about it. It's just like a business, right? If you're offering services, you evolve. That's going to become the thought leadership. But don't stress about it now. There's so many AI tools, but all you need is ChatGPT, honestly. And it's not about the number of followers, the people chasing the number of followers and, I need to go viral, and set all that aside. We're mature people here. But the big truth is you shouldn't be hustling. Like, for your business development is the hardest thing, but it should be a routine, because what happens is, to me too, you get a couple clients and you're busy and you have life and you kind of stop the business development. So my program, I really try to keep people ongoing basis, sending 40 connection requests in LinkedIn using an automated tool, $15 a month, like just keep it moving. So needs to be simple though. So some examples of building brand on LinkedIn. There are founders, and some of them, so it's called founder-led brand or building in public. The building in public is specifically about sharing every detail. And if any of you follow Adam Robinson, you know that he shares details, he shares like his thoughts. And like last week, he decided, well, he grew his business from 0 to 5 million last year just in LinkedIn, essentially. And he was so proud of that. Then last week he says, nope, I wasted my time. 15 months wasted. I need to go back to a balance of, customer meetings. And yeah, like it should be a balance. He spent so much, like he spent tens, 50,000 on video content, but he's building in public and he's sharing even his financials. You don't need to do that. These other two, Melissa Kwan does a great job of telling her story. Gal Aga is getting 60% of his leads for his business from LinkedIn because he spent 2 years posting 2 to 3 times a week. So some other solopreneurs to take a look at: Darren McKee, Charlotte Lloyd, April Dunford. Darren McKee was working. He was working as a VP of sales, and he built this side hustle of selling coaching for social selling. He built it to a point where he left his job. Now he is selling his own training services, and he was selling training at that previous company as an employee. That's what they were selling. So these are all things, like examples. There are all kinds of them. When you look around LinkedIn, and I think the most frustrating thing for me is seeing people who are selling very similar thing to me and charging a lot. And I'm like, how is this working? And they don't have the experience. But the thing is, you just have to get out there. That is the reality. If you're not out there, they can't hire you. So it's really come to a time in LinkedIn that if you want to sell services, you can. Referrals dry up. People who come into my coaching program have either exhausted referrals or they've hired agencies and the agencies haven't brought them anything. One example is a guy that really was, helpful in my pivoting. In my featured section, you'll see Remy, and he had posted in Pavilion saying, if anybody has a bunch of leads outside the door, let me know, because obviously I'm doing it wrong. And so I got on a call with him and I said, well, I can help you. And he's a fractional salesperson, chief revenue officer. In 30 minutes, I showed him. And then 3 weeks later, when I was here in Minnesota on vacation, he sends me a note and he goes, Connie, this was life-changing. Like, I've gotten 5 meetings and gotten a contract signed. Had nothing to do with content. He didn't post content. But the point is that he had spent buckets of money on agencies and not gotten qualified leads, meaning people that wanted to talk to him. That person I showed you earlier here that just put an appointment on calendar for Monday, she wants to talk to me and I'm excited. So you need to be out there. And I can't say enough about that. And if you're frustrated by not finding new business, then you need to take steps. And there's tons of things to do. There's tons of people teaching stuff. There's tons of people giving free content. So the opportunity is you can literally build credibility on LinkedIn. The goal is not by writing buckets of content, but the goal is to make sure your LinkedIn profile is optimized, that you have an offer that you want. Some of the problems when you leave a job is you're still job hunting and you're still resume focused. You need to pivot away from that. That's a big step, mindset shift. You have to offer a small piece, a thing that businesses want. It's critical. Because nobody's hiring you for your resume. Nobody asks for my resume anymore. Like no one. It's okay. I have a different version, but it's my offer document. And that explains my background lightly, explains what I do and testimonials. So it's like a landing page on a website. LinkedIn is going to become your website, and it can really help you. So even when you're offline, it's still working 24/7, same as a website. It just helps to stay visible. I think that like when I do an event like this, or when I'm creating content, it really helps me solidify and think about and evolve. What am I doing? Who am I helping? You know, and that's something that's really important. It's your marketing, telling your story. So you're not here to become a content creator. Honestly, I'm not going to turn you into one of those people. I'm not one of those people, but you need to grow your business. Like that's mission critical. And so AI can help. And I mean, it saves me 75% of time. I've been saying that for over a year. So just a quick about my overall coaching I've been doing. It's called the Growth Rebel Program. And it is about all the pieces. So first we talk about the offer. If you're pivoting from full-time work to the offer, it's important to think about that. And then there's this thing called product market fit in the tech world, but it's here to offer market fit. Like you need to figure out the messaging that resonates with people. Do they want to buy it? I mean, I'm sure you've heard of products that have been built by engineering team and nobody wants it. I mean, marketing can only do so much. So you really need to work on that marketing fit. Audience and messaging are a piece of that, and these can change. I have some people who get stuck in a quandary of I have so many things. Well, yeah, but pick one, we'll try it, and then you can go to other, try something else. Your content is important. I'm not heavy on building it on your LinkedIn profile, but it's a start. Like I think that I've been helping founders build their brand. And so I'm kind of merging and taking a portion of this out into making a new offer, literally. And then the channels. So I was getting 2 meetings a week. That was my goal. I moved 2 months out of my life, sort of slowed down my pipeline a lot. And then now last week, I'm up to 5. I've opened a new channel. It's my newsletter. And what you want is consistent. You need things coming in order to be able to convert a percentage of that. So, and with fractional, you just need a few. You're full at 3, 4, 5 clients. So my content lab system. The L is for learn. So we need to figure out what's your story, what's your expertise. I have some worksheets to capture this. Every startup I've worked with in the last 18 years, I'll go in and they're like, well, we need a website built. Yeah, okay, but stop for a second. Let's go back. What are we doing? What are you doing? What are you selling? Who are you selling to? All of that has to be figured out before you can put it into LinkedIn or website. So if your story isn't clear, it confuses people. But if it is clear, it will attract or draw people in. So if you keep saying attracts, it's like, what is that? And you should call me out on that. But it is about getting attraction of the right people that you want to talk to. Those agencies, they don't spend much time on this. And so they end up bringing in new leads, meetings that aren't correlated, and they really don't want to buy. They might be curious for whatever reason. So the A in lab is activate. We're going to train a custom GPT. And last fall, I started working with a client and I thought, maybe. And so I set up a custom GPT because I had been doing it for my self. So like I had a client that was selling, a founder who's selling geospatial data, like it's stuff. And so I set my own custom GPT up. I created the content and I gave it to the technical leader and said, can you review this? And he made a couple light edits and it passed muster, because those technical people, like, they know their stuff. And so I realized then that this works. So when I had my next founder last fall, I said, okay, so I created the custom GPT, I shared it with him, and he started training it too. And I could see what he was doing. I could see how he was thinking. And what happened is he ended up going and making a lead magnet and asking about coding and all these other in-depth technical aspects, which is great. But the point is that AI has it's gotten so much better that you can use it this way. So this custom GPT can be the free one, or you can pay the $20 a month. And it's transformative. It's made this. Before AI, I couldn't have done what I'm doing now. I mean, the content thing would have been such a grind. It would have been difficult. So we're going to train your GPT so that it knows you. And I'll show you what the difference is here in a minute. And the last one, the B, is build. So now it's time to create posts. And I have templates. They're like training wheels for you to get the feel of what we're doing. Like, this should take about an hour to a week. And then you'll have the content ready and you can publish, schedule it to be published. You need to batch things, because otherwise, if every day you have to do a LinkedIn post and you have to, go and do your outreach, things like it becomes too much. So the goal is to make it simpler, and, it should be your voice, your system, and then it should help you grow. So this is my content system of learning, activating, and building. And it's personalized. It's authentic. I love it. Like, I am so blown away I'm still amazed when it works with me. It's like my assistant. And the key is to build a habit that you like to do. So that, if it's a grind, you're not going to do it. You're going to avoid it like the plague. I took a new program course in February, and the first couple of weeks were first couple of months were content. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's easy, whatever. Oh boy, the stuff hit the fan when I had to start executing. But now I'm getting results, and now I'm into it. I can do it. Like, but building that muscle, there's a phrase, and it's not on the slides, but you have to become uncomfortable for change to happen. And if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, it's going to be pretty hard to grow your business, honestly. So that's the truth. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples, and then we'll do questions. It looks like we're okay on time. So the first prompt, and so I'm at the point, I will only use a template. So here's the thing about templates. When I see a post out in LinkedIn that I really like, I'm like, oh, I could fit my story into that. I will take that post and I'll say to ChatGPT, use your memory and, write this in my context. And it does a beautiful job. And the beauty of it is it pulls from its memory. Like, when I sit down, I don't have time to think back like 5-10 years over my experience to pull no, like, I'm the doer. So ChatGPT is my memory, and it's beautiful. The way I start is I will write like 4 or 5 sentences to give it context and then let it take over. And so my prompt is, please use info about my Growth Rebel program to finish this. So I have a phrase, laid off for the last time. But after my last layoff, I made a decision I wasn't going back. My last layoff was after 2 months. That founder was kind of mixed up. I have to be careful because I invited founders here too. The first week, he says, hey, Connie, I hired you to do marketing, but can you do sales? I work 7 days a week, literally 10 hours a day for 2 months. I straighten out the sales. I set up a program for salespeople. I figured out the pipeline. And after 2 months, he goes, oh, my friend was laid off, so I have to let you go. Seriously, 2 months? Who can even determine if you did a good job or not? It didn't matter. So anyway, the point is that I was not going back. I am not going to be in a business where someone is making poor decisions. And in the previous role, the founder was spending $30,000 a month on Google Ads and not getting anything. After 10 months, he got one deal at $800. Anyway, so if people won't listen, you can only do so much. So I want to do this on my terms. I work with founders now. I'm very blunt. I give feedback. We move fast, but that's what I'm doing now. Fractional marketing services. After it's a rolling contract. If we decide it's not a fit, great. We go our own ways. It's fine. It's month to month. So I gave it this, I got sidetracked. I gave it this prompt in my trained one, and it goes on. It says, but here's the part most people don't see. Even as a marketer, I had the same challenges everyone has. My network didn't send referrals. I thought I had to post every day, grow a huge following, and hustle nonstop. None of that worked. I mean, some people say go out and comment 100 times a day. In my program, it's like 5 to 7 comments a week. That's it. So what did work? I built a simple system, and then the system became the foundation for my Growth Rebel program, a program where I help fractionals, founders, and solopreneurs skip the noise, ditch the burnout, and start attracting clients without expensive agencies or content overwhelm. Today, I don't just work harder, I work smarter. I teach others how to do the same. So this follows what you see on my LinkedIn profile. It is my program. It is me. It is who I am. It's my background. This other one, I put the same prompt into a free account that I have, but I've only given it my resume. I was doing some playing with cover letters and like jobs that were junior, but maybe I could help them part-time. Anyway, so this is what it starts with. And then it says, I kept things lean, focused on outcomes to stay close to the sales motion. What's happened next surprised even me. Founders wanted help. Okay. They wanted a partner who could think like a CMO, but act like a seller. I don't use the acronym CMO ever anywhere. I'm a marketing person that brings strategy and execution. So, and if you go on it's hallucination, it's made up, it's untrained, it's like not even worth. So the difference is this is my paid GPT. This is a free one that's not trained, and same prompt exactly. So hopefully that helps you see like the difference. Then this morning, I was like, I have this idea I wanted to talk about with my newsletter audience. My biggest mistake was not building a side hustle. And then what I prompt it with is I put in parentheses, this is my tip for you. And then I was talking to Bill this morning. Bill doesn't know about this, and seriously, I mean, I do things strangely, but I just put in parentheses my ideas. And then if I were to do it over again, that's how I help people get there faster with clarity each step. Well, if I were to do it over again is in text, but the others are in parentheses. So it's like my hint to ChatGPT, go flush this out, go fill it in. So here's my tip for you. State the topic, put your ideas in parentheses, and I even sometimes go ... fill out inside the parentheses, and it just knows. Either it knows me or I don't know. So what happened was it comes up with this, which is really nice. You know, and what happens when I do this is I can use the majority of this. And so I'll read it, I can edit it lightly. And then down at the bottom, it says, want to talk about it? Just hit reply. And I thought, I have been practicing with my newsletter audience and saying, hey, if you want this free thing, reply with the word gamma. And it works. Like 8 people last week did that. So I said to it, let's make this tighter. Just hit reply and tell me what your side hustle would be. Give me 5 options of that. I do this a lot. This is brainstorming. I ask it to put the words together. And some of them are really good. Tell me what you're dreaming about building. Share the idea that won't leave you alone. That's clever. Tell me what kind of work lights you up. Let me know what you wish you were doing. That's the one I chose, number 4. Tell me what side hustle you're secretly planning. So that's how I get it to, I iterate with it. The other thing I noticed was that this part right here with clarity each step, number 2, I give it the phrase or the paragraph. That's exactly what I help people with now. And I want to add more. I want to skip the experimenting. You can see there, skip the experimenting, ... And so then it comes back with skip the guesswork, skip the endless experimenting. Let's map it out together, which is a really nice, soft pull. So that's how I work with it. I don't know if that helps you. I mean, I will certainly work with people more closely, but just to give you an idea of how I make it dance. And I love it. Like, I'm creative and I have ideas. I'm just not, I don't have the patience to sit and write. But if I can have ChatGPT give me it, the start, then I can edit that and make it better. So my suggestion is that, you know, content can become a habit. There's tons of places, because the first thing you're going to say, but Connie, what do I write about? The first primary thing is, what are your pain points for your audience? What, you know, that's the most important thing to write about. That's what will attract them. They'll resonate with that. So client conversations, and this isn't a secret. I mean, so many people are doing this, like with the sales tools, but record your conversations. So earlier this week, I met with 2 people. I have my phone, I record it, I take it, throw it back into ChatGPT and ask it to give me ideas for content. I also ask it to give me ideas or give me a summary and tell me how I could have done better, right? Like, give me feedback on the conversation. I struggle with sales initially. And so now I've gotten much better at having the conversation, but ChatGPT is great at helping you and coaching you on sales. Wins and case studies, of course. The next one, the event, the analogy, and the lesson. So I am continually thinking about during the day. Even Monday, I had this conversation with this person. I said, oh, I have to write that down. And writing down the phrase that I can use future in the content. When you're having your conversations with your clients and your meetings, it's huge. This is where founders find their content, talking about when they met with the team. And if you're a CTO, for example, and you're meeting with the dev team, you know, what problems are they having? How do you help solve it? So take that event and make an analogy and a lesson out of it. So I'll give you an example. So I have a mentor who's just, I mean, I channel him and I really tried to figure this out. But so I was cleaning out my closet before moving. I had all of these professional suit jackets in bright colors. And I took a picture of them and I said, you know, we took these to the consignment shop and they said, people don't wear these anymore. I kind of doubt it, but anyway, I hope Goodwill found a better place for them. But the point was that I wore those to Dell when I worked at Dell corporate. I wore them into New York City when I went to a unicorn startup, and they made me feel good. And so, but the thing is, you have to let go. And so I turned it into the analogy, and then the lesson or the pivot is, you know, you have things in your closet. Those were 10 years old. So you need to let go. Times have changed. What habits are you holding on to that you don't need? It takes a little bit to figure out that muscle, but the minute you do, I tell founders to write it down. So I didn't say this earlier, but if you look at my featured section of LinkedIn, you'll see Ray Gibson's testimonial. And he's the one, he had 19,000 followers and no leads. Like, so we, I taught him how to make content, video, add images, and think about it a different way. And it's really helped him in only 2 months. So his testimonial videos. So the secret is events in your day are the stories you can tell. Eventually you'll start getting a maturity, and you can even ask ChatGPT about the thought leadership pieces. So photos, I mean, seriously, we've done like little informal photo shoots. So like in Florida, when we were in Fort Lauderdale for a week, we went and just took photos. And so a lot of my photos are from there. And in Connecticut, we went to a couple of places and just took informal photos. And on my website, those are all informal photos that Bill's taken. That's what people want to see. They want to see the real you. LinkedIn has changed so much. So sometimes I put like my last post, I think I have the pug in me. Like, that's what people want to see. And it does attract people too. And then videos. So Ray Gibson, I taught him how to really quickly make and produce his own videos. It's really easy. Get them up on YouTube. And it's the thing to do. Like this, nobody has time for tons of work. So my tips, and I don't really want to read through all this because that's really boring, but you don't need to post daily. You need clarity on your offer. That's the most important thing. If you're just starting out and you've, been doing this for a couple of months and you're like, oh, why isn't anything sticking? It's because you offer what you're, offering needs to be tightened up, or, it needs to be something businesses want and need. And it's your expertise. Your profile needs to be matching that, expressing that expertise. You already have plenty of ideas for the content. We just need to learn to capture them in a notebook. Content pillars, ChatGPT will help with that, but that's starting to get more structured. But initially starting out, you have plenty of stories to share. So engagement, this is what I teach in my Growth Rebel program about commenting and messaging and outreach, and those are the channels. So LinkedIn profile is a channel, but it's one that takes a long time to get going. And then, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Some of us are, especially the more senior professional. You got to get it done and get it out. What, Bill? And then just to repeat about
that wasn't me. That was Joaquin.
Okay. So, well, I'm almost finished here, and then we'll do questions and have a chat. It's a choice. Like, growing your business is the hardest thing ever. I've hit, Bill can attest, there's been days when I've had meltdowns and said, why am I doing this? I just want to go back to a job. Wait a minute. I'm not sure that, let's not be so quick on that, because anyway, so you can do nothing. You can continue on. There's lots of free stuff out there, so you can do it alone. That's another option. And the other thing is to do it with help, and we can talk about it. So I was going to put my link earlier, but I will now, or Bill will put in my link for my Calendly, but there's no program sale here. There's no price. But just if you're interested, set up a meeting and let's talk about it, and talk about where you're at, what you're doing, what you want to do. And that's what I've been doing. So thanks for listening. And we will shift over to questions.
So your Calendly link is in there. I put it in there for everyone. One of the things that's interesting to observe, the thing that I learned this morning from Connie's newsletter is to put your thoughts in parentheses in ChatGPT. I've been using ChatGPT the same amount of time, if not longer than Connie, which is November 22, I think it was, or 23 when it first came out. And I use it. What I've done for my personal GPT is I've uploaded the manuscript of my first book, which is the one you see in my background. My second book is What Every CEO Must Know, 37 Secrets to Lead with Confidence and Power. It's not published yet. It's coming soon. But my GPT has both book manuscripts, CEO tips that I posted on LinkedIn for over 3 years, and a lot about my background. I can ask it anything, and it'll, like, one of my favorite things is I asked it for my voice print. It has it printed out stuff for me in 30 seconds that describe me better than I can. And I'm retired from the professional world. I got laid off the last time, March of 2020, which is when I wrote this book. I had been waiting to publish this book for 22 years. I started the notes for this book 22 years ago, or 22 years before 2020. But it's pretty amazing what Connie's been able to do with ChatGPT. I've done it with Claude as well. So I actually have two personal paid for accounts that are worth every penny. $20 a month is, way less than anybody probably spends on coffee or blizzards. And so, the stuff really works. It's really pretty amazing. And it can be your voice. That's the thing that makes it different. Nobody can tell when I do something with ChatGPT, Claude, or writing myself. Now, my books are written without AI, but I do use them to give me, as an assistant, to give me outlines, review my flow, logic flow, things like that. It's fantastic for. And I have 5 decades in technology, the last 35 being a senior leader. So this stuff is pretty good. Connie's been, 18, 19 years now in online marketing and technology world. She took a little bit of detour from the startups to work for Dell for 3 years when we went to Austin, Round Rock. But, for the most part, working with founders and now solopreneurs, I get a chance to learn from Connie myself. And her stuff's pretty amazing. And so hopefully you learn something today, but you can learn even more if you choose to work with her. It's really up to you guys.
What questions do you have after all that? Because I am debunking myths. Like, there's some huge myths that I'm sure you've seen, and I'm taking my own road. So ask away, fire away.
So I'll go with one. I'll start things off. So hallucinations are one thing for the AI. What I find often enough is that I'll phrase it politely. My GPT can be my best cheerleader, but it's not always honest with me, right? So like yesterday, I wanted to get feedback on a blog post that I read because I had my own opinions and biases. I'm like, what do you think of this? And they're, oh, this is great. And da, 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 da. And I asked for like, who's the target demographic? And I said, just to be clear, this is not my blog post. It's someone else's. Like, oh, well, in that case, this is my opinion. I'm like, whoa, like, so it was just very interesting. And I don't know if that's how I've trained it or if you've had any experience with that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen conversations about telling it to be brutally honest.
Okay.
That works. You can
That
also
works.
give it a phrase. You can say, imagine
actually,
my customer is XYZ. How would they react to this?
Oh, I like that. I like that.
In fact, you can, prompts can be super long. So, and you can bulletize them as well. So you could ask ChatGPT for any document or any writing that you do or anybody else does. Tell me the top 10 things that are wrong with this post. You can ask it to give you a tone, a spicy response, anything you want, but it will tell you everything that's wrong with what it just read. And so you can do that. Don't, it will do exactly what you said, and it'll be really nice to you and be super
So
honest with you
nice.
that you,
This is the most
So nice.
brilliant idea ever. You're so great, which
yeah,
might or may
you,
not be true. I don't know sometimes. So
you,
yeah.
you
There's
gotta, you gotta tell it to act like a critic
Yeah.
and to give the most critical review of this and how you can
yeah.
improve it, how it can be improved, how it can be fixed, how it can be tightened up, whatever.
There's one prompt that kind of gets it fired up and say, hey, I've got this project. I need to do this. I'm going to get fired if it isn't done well. Or another flavor of that is, hey, I'm working with you and I'm working with like Claude, another AI. So I'm expecting you to give your best. And for some reason it gets really fired up because do you see what I mean?
I do, and that actually it's making me think of so many news articles on GPT. So thank you for that. Yeah. I get it, and I like that. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a little, it is good. So the one thing that the word I didn't read, I know I put it in my slides, but is controversial. So when I'm asking for subject lines, that my tip is to just say, can you give me a controversial spin on this or topic or whatever? Because the controversial is the type of thing you want. You don't want vanilla. You want things that are going to attract people's attention. So that word controversial is what I teach. Like, just, it's so valuable. And I know we've spun off of what your original question was, but that's a tip that is that ChatGPT loves to play with.
I'm
Yeah,
yes,
but-
and so keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also tell ChatGPT that its answer is boring. You're boring. You have to do better than that. Give me 3 more examples that just aren't boring, because this is terrible. You can be brutally honest with this thing. Remember, it works 24/7. It'll tell you what you want to hear if you do, if you're nice to it. But
Yeah.
don't be nice to it. Be brutally honest with it, really, and ask it to, it's pretty powerful. And it gets more powerful almost every release. It's just incredible. So
So mine, and I don't know if it's just because I'm using, but the growth rebel attitude. So after it'll write my post to say, do you want something spicier? And that's a tone thing. So if you can get it to offer you other tones, like warm or so soft, I can have a few different, but the reality is that sometimes I have to go back to the original because it gets really not out of hand, but sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want to shift the tone. So that's something else to play with. Ask if it can give you 3 other tones and see what it does.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Connie, you gave me an insight earlier in sort of a synthesis of several points you made. You were saying, for example, when I write, sometimes I'm thinking about, am I going to do something controversial because people like that? They do, but are they the people who are likely to buy your services? And about my day, I can write about my day, but it can come off as a little bit of a diary. So the kind of balancing point that you made was, are you speaking to your audience? So don't worry about being popular. You don't need 1,000 comments. You need 5 comments from people who buy what you're selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have to always remind myself that, because I will indulge in writing whatever turns me on, and it doesn't always land with the right people.
But you can be, there are people with that personality that they are positive, negative, right? Like they purposely go out to repel, and you attract some and you're going to repel some. But so let me just tell you about this whole newsletter project. I never set out to build a newsletter, but it hurts my feelings when people subscribe. Like, anyway, and so it's kind of the same thing there. You have to think about strategically, who you're going to attract and draw in and who you are going to repel, because you don't want to lose half your following because you went off and talked about one topic that really isn't that important. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it is an important thing. The other thing though, you can use it to your advantage to get new readers and get people sharing your content, to get into other streams, to get into other audiences. So it is a choice. And but I think some of us, we do it without even realizing that I think that's what you're saying.
Yes, it is.
Aw.
My dog interrupted me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Stop it.
It's cute. All right. So what other questions do you guys have, or pick my brain? It's all good.
You said you have your own custom GPT. What does that mean to you?
So let me clarify for that for a minute. The language. So I have a paid GPT. It's $20 a month, and I have trained it. So be careful. Don't give PDFs and expect it to know. You have to copy paste still. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. So I shouldn't call it, I should call it customized, because I've trained it. Just leave it there. I have made some custom GPTs, meaning that inside of my GPT, I create it with the instructions or whatever. So I have a really fun one. And so I have a couple programs I'm in, and the mentor's like, he's like, okay, go out and make people laugh when you do your connection requests. I have a sense of humor, but it's not like actively working. So that one I built, but the better one I built off of that was this. It's a custom GPT. So you could take it, the link, and you could put in 3 screenshots, a screenshot of their profile banner, their about section, and maybe something below, or else their website link. It will give you 3 personalized connection requests. That is a custom GPT.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. The only problem is, if people don't have a paid account, they can do, I think, 4 or 5 screenshots, and then they're shut down for the day. So like, it just, yeah. So that one's limiting, but it's so beautiful because it pulls, like, this one guy, it did it for him and his profile, and he was both a book author and did something else, like an IT guy. And it gave me 3 options. So this, Indra, is where we played with the tone. It'll say, do you want more in different tones? I say, yes, give me 5 more, and it'll give you warm and, different tones. And I mean, I can go do all that research, but I don't have 20 minutes per person to sit and, and so then when they get that message, they're like, whoa, this person like researched me, and they looked at, and they know what I'm doing. And, so it's a hack, but anyway, so I built things like that. So I have built one for the offer, and the custom GPT, what it is it asks you questions about your output. So you're a CTO. So what are the KPIs that you used to deliver on? And it kind of translates your resume, reverse engineers it back in. So what are your custom KPIs? Who did you used to deliver to? What was important to you? And then it comes back in and says, well, here's 10 offers that you could potentially offer to help flip from resume to offer. So things like that, like, I have to sort of dream it up, put it in, and then, it's not hard. In fact, if somebody takes this class, I will teach you how to create custom GPT. Like, it's so easy. Like, it's, it's not brain surgery. If you've done it, like, yeah.
I appreciate everything. I have to drop. Thanks,
Okay.
Connie. Thanks, Bill.
Yep. Thanks, Michael. All right. Anybody else? Anything? Hopefully it was kind of fun. It's not fun when people talk at you for an hour, but
It was engaging. It was not talking at, it was talking to and sharing. So thank you.
my question is it different from the stuff you've heard?
It's a lot more practical. Like, I've been to some other sessions that I couldn't make use of what they were saying. I can alter my behaviors in the next 5 minutes based on what you said. So
That's cool.
That's good. Yeah. That is huge. Yeah. And that really is the goal. I mean, some of these things, well, can be simplified. I shouldn't say that marketing. Yeah, I will. Simplifying marketing. Like
What-
that.
What do you guys do? What type of functions do you guys do?
I'm the no nonsense HR guy. So that's why I like your approach. I'm just very no nonsense. I don't like a bunch of shit, just a lot of flow.
Okay.
But I'm the HR guy pretty much.
Okay. And
And
Indra,
I'm an
what-
ops person. And I use it for, I use GPT for just about everything. Like what this did is it validated a lot of the ways that I use it. Because when people say that AI is making you dumber, I'm like, is it? Because I think of it as
No.
a collaborator, right?
Mhm.
And if I'm collabing with this, and I always say, so like, it's like, I treat it like an intern. It may or may not give me something useful, depending on what inputs I give to it. And your approach really aligns with that rather than what I think that a lot of people use it for, which is just not as effectively, we'll say. So I really, really liked it. And it just was really good reinforcement. So thank you.
Right.
I think Gen AI is really misunderstood by a lot of people.
Mhm.
If the people are non-technical and they've never worked in the technology world, they don't really understand that AI and machine learning has been around my entire career, which
That's
is
right.
which is over 50 years.
You're right.
In my process control days, where I used to work at a process control company, the Foxborough company became Inventus and somebody else, but everything we did was machine learning. Everything, real time operations for power plants and chemical plants and paper mills and oil refineries. All of that stuff was AI. It just wasn't called that.
That's right.
It was machine learning. And then
Yeah.
over the years, machine learning turned into the models that became Gen AI, and it was Open AI that pushed it out. Now it's the number one investment in the world by investors. And I read something this morning from, I think it was McKinsey, 90% of the funding, or there's 90 gazillion dollars or whatever it was that's being invested in. Over 50% of that is in Gen AI and AGI, which is adding all the reasoning capabilities to. And that's the problem, is moving so fast that you can't keep up with it. If it's so, like Connie and I both play with this stuff on a regular basis, and we kind of help each other. And she has a purpose for it because she's using it to educate and train people, and I'm using it now more for my content, my own content. Now I'm just starting to implement parts of Connie's program because I'm doing my launch. So I've started last week. I actually just started doing my LinkedIn content again after a 9-month hiatus, and 3 times a week, and everything is built around my second book. So I'm trying to drive people to buy my first one in preparation for the second one coming. So, but I'm using her program, and so why not? She's years ahead of me on that kind of stuff. So I mean, I got a couple of contracts. One guy I've been working with for over 3 years from a lead magnet inside my book because the book resonated with him so much. So he's still with me. But the
So,
fact, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, so Indra, I view it as like a third hand, but my mind manages it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Like it's another piece.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. And it's like, for me, I'll call myself in my pre-revenue phase of my fractional independent journey.
Yeah.
And so it's given me a lot of good inspiration just to do it. So, which is great.
Yeah, you just need to do it. The other thing I think that that the ChatGPT from a cumulative perspective is when you can start productizing some things, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I'm doing this for a couple of years, and so when I'm like working with people and it's the same things over and over, then like, how can we make that custom GPT to make this process easier and less? Because everybody hates the market.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See what I
Yeah.
So we do it manually
Mhm.
a couple of times until my brain says, "Oh, I can make this operationalized a little bit easier." And then
I see where you're
people
going with it.
think it's more fun rather than, filling in a worksheet.
That's
they
actually
can-
really interesting. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
And then it hits Bill's point of the fact that like everything, it's a new label for an old thing, but if it doesn't have the AI label on it, it can't be good, right? And that allows you to slap that label, like, because you are like a smart, efficient person who wants to be as effective as possible will leverage AI when it makes sense. And so, yeah.